Welcome back to the LCS for the State Farm Neighborhood Tactics. And while many of our teams are exploring new looks in summer, Emily and I wanted to talk about Evil Geniuses and TSM and their playstyles because they have more defined playstyles and identities. So first, I'm going to break down a TSM play, and then Emily's going to talk about EG. So when I think about TSM, I think late game scaling, front-to-back 5v5 team fight comps. And I also think about the way in which they set up their fights. So when we pull up this video, we're gonna see an example of a game in which TSM, they're setting up situations to be favorable to draw in as many 5v5 fights as possible, as opposed to playing into EG's 1-3-1 style. So if you look at the mini-map here, you have Huni off in a side lane, and there's full vision control from EG because of this control ward in the line brush here for the river, and this ward over here at TSM's choke. So what TSM decides to do is say, okay, we're gonna clear this out as safely as possible by sending our 2 tanks in Spica and Sword Art to clear these out. And even if these guys get caught, they're generally gonna be fine because there's some of the tankier units and Spica can lifesteal. So they go in, they sweep this out completely, and at that point, EG's in a bit of a bind because Huni actually has split push pressure bot, while TSM now has control over Baron, and TSM realizing that, go for a bait on Baron. So EG, if you look on the mini-map over here, they're trying to figure out, do we reinforce the cannon, or do we try to stop this Baron? And they actually waffle on this decision for a second here. So now, at this point, Huni has managed to get a decisive advantage on bot. TSM realizes we can just back away, lifesteal up off of the Scuttle Crab because Spica has Udyr, and we can continue to force EG to have to make a decision. At this point, there's been a bit of a windfall because look at that, Huni has solo killed Impact. So now TSM realizes, okay, EG has to do something about this Baron. We have vision control, they camp the brush, boom, they catch Svenskeren. Svenskeren now has to blow Zonias, and he has to flash out. And this starts a snowball for the entire team, and EG loses 2 additional members. So now TSM, they're kind of low, right? So starting Baron and fully committing to it could be risky, and it's pretty much the only way that they lose this overall skirmish. So what they decide is, okay, we still have vision control, Huni is sitting on a vision ward over here, and Sword Art realizes, okay, because we have vision all around river, except for at the choke point here, he's gonna camp, right? He's gonna camp and he's gonna wait for anyone to try to check from the blue side choke. So once Sword Art is there, TSM can start this safely, knowing that no matter what, their vision's covered. Jizuke takes a bait, Sword Art immediately engages on him, and TSM immediately follows up. And again, you get the scenario where they can capitalize on the fact that they have a front-to-back team fighting comp, they can capitalize on the fact that their vision control is really good, and they can sort of lean into the TSM playstyle of always looking for grouped engagements. So, Emily, talk to me about EG.
All right, so I'm actually super glad you used that example for a few reasons. One, I've always both praised and criticized TSM as a team that actually does so much better when they're setting up after someone else is set up, so like kind of reacting and punishing mistakes. Also because EG were trying to set up 1-3-1, right? And TSM were responding it. I actually really like a lot of the 1-3-1 looks that we see from EG. Some execution is better than others. I'm gonna show an example of a little bit better execution of that. So they have Herald here. Drake is actually up. Again, once upon touching on my, if you have mid prio, getting Drake is a lot better. They're gonna Herald mid. They have Nocturne on the top side. He's actually gonna kind of waffle around whether he's gonna decide mid, but C9 decides, okay, we're gonna go for Jizuke, right? Because he's one of the split pushers. And this composition is so good at collapsing. Even though Jizuke dies, this is absolutely fine for EG. They're actually able to get the trade kill after this play. They get another kill in the tri-brush, and they do end up getting that Drake. So I think I really love a lot of these 1-3-1 setups from EG. And now I am very curious to see what Raz thinks, because we have a new person coming into the EG lineup, and I think a huge part of 1-3-1 is actually, an underrated part is the 3.
Yeah.
So now we have contracts.
Well, welcome to the boardroom.
Welcome.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh.
My co-CEO and I have some thoughts. Raz?
Oh,
We
no.
were discussing about it, but yes, I agree. Contracts being added to the 3. I think he's a great player. You know, when he was playing through Proving Grounds, he's an exceptional carry player. You know, you mentioned in Italy earlier on, Talia is something that he's kind of played as well. But in general, like he's very flexible. When he was on 100 Thieves, during that one time in the split, he actually had a great performance. I expected him to be able to be back on tours in LCS roster. So I don't think it's going to change that much. But once again, if they're going to be playing this style, I hope that he's comfortable, you know, because the change from when he was in academy coming up to, it should be a pretty stark one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very much an LCS caliber player. We know that from his history. And so, to some degree, no surprise that he is on the stage. I think, in my opinion, and this is where my tinfoil hat comes into play, the circumstance feels a little strange. Again, and it aligns with kind of the reasoning that Immortals had given in the week prior, with Pretty coming in saying it's because of how well he's played in academy, but he's coming in for one game only, then we're going back to our starter. In sports, I believe you play your best opportunity at winning. So I'm getting kind of mixed messages here. If you're telling me that you're already planning on bringing Svenskeren back in, why is Contracts coming in for this game, particularly against the top team in the league?
Yeah. I think the thing is, Dash, when you hear, you know, we're giving our academy player a reward for this once, that's a point. You hear it twice, that's a trend. You hear it 3 times, it's a meme, right?
So we're almost meme status.
Yeah, we're closing on our meme status. Okay. And Contracts is a guy who's played in LCS before. Right? So this is someone who you legitimately can look at as a long-term prospect for the team. So although I think it's good from a PR perspective to say, hey, look, it's not that Svenskeren's bad. It's that I think Contracts has been performing really well. You have to look at this and say, hey, EG has 2 LCS level junglers, and they're probably trying to figure out which one is better.
All right.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to use the most boring answer of a lifetime. It's a case-by-case situation. Where in the first case, you know, I honestly believe there's like, hey, you know, if Pretty's performing well, give him an opportunity to perform. But like, Insanity's been so good for so long, to go for it. In this case, I do think that Contracts like has something to prove, and it really is. See how he looks, and we'll go from there.
Well, at least you understand your brand. Boring.
Hey, wait a second. Hold
I'm just kidding. Anyway, it's time for the game. The players are ready. Pace of time, bros. Take it away. You set yourself up for that, my friend.
Thank you very much. Josh Resford, I don't think you're boring at all.
Neither do we. He's actually quite entertaining and
He's very entertaining.
and has great tweets where he films himself doing all sorts of shenanigans.
That's true. But before we get to tweets or this game, we do have some important business to take care of. Before we get into the matchup, we are teaming up with the White House to keep spreading awareness about COVID-19 vaccinations. If you're in the States, the vaccine is free and available to everyone. And of course, getting vaccinated is the quickest way for us to get back to normal and to further the campaign for hashtag butts in seats. So if you're able, please consider getting vaccinated and help bring us one step closer, seeing you all in person once again.
It's that butts in seats campaign.
That's really what it is.
I miss the most is actually the regulars, the long-time diehard fans that we recognize by name, that come here, that cheer their teams through thick and thin. Doesn't matter the changes, they're right behind them. Those are the guys I miss the most.
All right, well, speaking of changes, as we heard from the desk, Contracts coming in pretty convenient for us, Crumbs, given that we did just watch Contracts play Academy this week, and he went off, especially in their first game against TLA, which are not shabby at all in the Academy world, if you haven't been following. So we'll see how he does here. Definitely a player that we know what his level is like, certainly can perform very well here, but TSM is a pretty tough opponent given their position in the standings. So we'll see what happens here in the draft. Akali Renekton banned by TSM, Lulu banned by EG. I imagine Karma is going to follow at some point for them in this draft, but for the most part it is Power Picks being taken away as Zin's out. Going to get banned by EG.
I like the Zin ban because TSM and EG have shared the similarity in that their team identity revolves around their mid laner, and neither of these mid laners really prioritizes what is most meta right now, the melee ADs or the enchanters. As a result, they're playing more AP mid laners, and so the junglers have to play AD. So banning out the Zin should force Pika to play either lead jungle, Volibear, give us Udyr, or just try something new. So they're trying to attack what has worked for TSM the most, and it also applies for EG. We just saw Contracts crush in Academy, but the key thing about Contracts in Academy this split is that he has been dominant on AP junglers.
Yep.
And AP junglers are best set up by ADs in the mid lane. Jizuka's ADs are Lucian and Tristana. Had a rough game on the Lee Sin, but no sets, no Nocturnes, and so this is a great opportunity for both of these teams to expand their champion pools into what is meta and has been working for most teams.
I like the Rumble ban as well for EG. You've seen a lot of TSM Rumble, but more recently it has been Huni's Rumble. So Volibear, as a result, is going to continue that trend you're talking about, Crumbs, right? No AP junglers.
Yeah, that tells me it's just going to be AP mid. It's not going to be anything of the meta sets, the Nocturnes, the Lees for PoE, just sticking to the most comfortable picks for them. And it works with what we just saw from Kaizen and Emily. It's going to be team fighting. It's going to be going to that mid to late game and winning. And it's going to be rough, though. Pastry, TSM has had a deficit in most games at 15. They're currently at around -350 early game, whereas EG at around +950. So one team surges in the mid game, while EG is usually falling apart when it hits that crucial team fight.
Yeah, TSM, a pretty slow team. I think that historically has been true, but definitely the split, even though their record is very good, you definitely can't deny the success they've had kind of going back almost to basics with, the more of PoE's control majors with more of the slower team fighting style, but it does mean that you aren't going to get nearly as many early game leads.
Exactly, right? So you have to buckle down the early game. You have to make sure that you don't lose out too much, and EG's already selected 2 champions that are just so relevant in the meta right now. The Viego is going to be flexed around. I do feel like this is going to be an impact pick. We're going to not know until the very end, but already very strong skirmishing, strong team fighting, and it will be answered by the Karma from TSM. This is going to be flexed around in 3 lanes. The Ezreal Karma lane, obviously very strong against most engaged supports that Ignar tends to favor, especially if he wants to go the direction of a Nautilus.
And Nautilus is just so strong right now. There's an endless amount of CC, very good in lane, fits with just about everything, very straightforward to play right. There's a lot to love about Nautilus as a champion. So I do understand why teams are prioritizing it here. I guess the other thing to note, apart from the fact that TSM have gotten Karma and Ezreal, which definitely plays into their plan of playing for the later game, we do actually have Diana on the board, which is nice. So I imagine that is Contract's champion. So at least EG are trying to accommodate, this player coming in for this game who does play a bit of a different style. They're at least somewhere finding a way to kind of wiggle in the AP jungle.
That's something I like to see, because the last thing you want is to bring in a new player into the lane.
Now, Sejuani.
Not setting up to succeed, exactly right. Say, oh yeah, you're here for us. Like, we don't want you to play your best. No, you're actually giving Contracts what he has played very well all split long. The Rumble won't be allowed for him, but Diana is something that combined with Nautilus makes some of the most explosive engages possible. So it doesn't matter that you've got an Ezreal and a Karma just running around. Both press R on a single target and delete him instantly. So EG, I like that they have selected a lot of engage thus far, and Viego often shines when he can just follow up, and he doesn't have to be taking the initial brunt of the engage.
All right, Leona Braun banned by EG, so Sword losing some picks, which means they're leaning more towards the fact that it's going to be Karma lane, or at least respecting the power of Sword Art maybe a bit more, because there's no mid laners they really need to ban if it is going to be Karma, and they're probably not afraid of PoE's Orianna. It's very good, but they know what to do against that pick, right? That doesn't surprise you. On the other side, LeBlanc there and Echo, they're taking some Jizuke comfort away, as looks like maybe Tristana will be the hover here for EG. Definitely something they can flex. As you said, one of Jizuke's few AD champions that's seen success for EG has been this Trist.
Lucian is still available, but I don't think EG would flex it into the bottom lane. They could flex a Tristana into the mid here, so you already have 2 flexes that TSM have to consider, and I'm so interested to see if this is actually going to be the PoE Karma. My instinct tells me no. He's so impressive on the control mages and being able to assist in the actual engage of these fights. This would weaken the 2v2 of TSM significantly from how they've played them before, just counting on him as a damage dealer, and in fact it will be so. Azir, full damage, full disengage, making sure they peel back and survive the initial attack of EG will be their key to victory.
Azir is pretty good. I also like that this does give them a little bit more proactivity. Azir's engage isn't the best, but especially for seasoned Azir players, you can find angles with that champion by ulting in. So Lee Sin as well, again, not the most reliable, straightforward engage for TSM, but they are giving themselves some tools.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tool for Huni, who has been really good on the Lee Sin. His ability to just kick individual members that have no mobility on EG has been very impressive, especially when he did it against Cloud9. Finding perks is no easy task, yet he pulled it off 3 times in a single game. And so it's going to be up to Huni to once again outplay his opponent and kick them in, because there are 2 AD carries now on the side of EG. Kind of anticipated. It had to be an AD mid laner for Jizuke if you're going to play with Contract. So he looked very impressive in the game against, I believe it was Golden Guardians, where he had a ginormous lead in the mid lane. The team helped them out so much. It was actually against FlyQuest, and his ability to CS and just Flame Horizon, his counterpart, was phenomenal. The downside, though, Pastry, is that last time EG faced TSM, he also played Lucian, adapted to the enemy, and that's how they lost. So it's a coin flip. It's a bit of a toss-up.
Always is with Jizuke
Right.
in some ways. Definitely a champion you can pressure PoE with here on Azir. So just looking at the drafts, it does very much feel like there is a timer on this game. And maybe that's often true of TSM games. But I feel like when I see this many AD threats and a Volibear and an Ezreal on one team, I'm like, yeah, if they get Frozen Hearts online and the game's kind of even, they're going to be feeling pretty good at 30, 35 minutes.
They're going to outrange you, right? The Ezreal with the Karma is going to be so difficult to catch. The Nautilus will have to find a really strong engage, and so the game plan for EG is exactly how the statistics call it. They need to get so far ahead early that they can close the game out before TSM come online. And on the flip side, TSM just got to brace the storm. They know the early game is going to be rough. Survive it, get to the team fight, and they have usually been better at executing individually than EG has been at the 5v5. Their composition predicts it, and now we're going to see how they play the early game, because going 5 members into the bot side tells me they've got something planned around the bot lane rush.
Might as well make it happen. If you can get off to an early start, this is a great thing for TSM here against this kind of comp, but lots of focus here on the top side for EG, especially with contracts coming in and piloting the Diana for this game. Diana definitely a champion that wants to get ahead and stay ahead, especially in this kind of comp where you are the sole magic damage pretty much. Nautilus is not, unfortunately, contributing too much in that front, as Danny will spot the invade and should be able to dodge it here. But got to be careful. Again, not that many ways for TSM to actually get on top of the Tristan engage on it. So EG don't have to panic, and Danny just walks out without needing to use either Rocket Jump or using his flash.
This will really set up TSM's bottom lane. Going for this invade, knowing where the junglers start, because the last thing you want on Ezreal and Karma is to be ganked by the jungler. You want to leave this lane 2v2 all lane long, just poke away, know that no help is coming for the enemy, and if they could even get a state where the map is split, that would even be ideal for them. Instead, though, they'll just settle for the ward and clear out the one that EG's placed. It already is, though, at 128, but at the very least, they have the knowledge and the extra experience for Huni.
Yeah, nice there, just getting that ward. Huni going to help speak it out a little bit to kick off the jungle. His impact's already to lane. Lost, though, looking for the invade alongside Sword Art. Danny and Igno actually protecting contracts here. That is a big leash for the Diana.
That's really going to help out contracts here. He is going to love having the extra help.
All right, got to be a bit careful there. Igno and Danny going back down to that bottom side here, so don't join too late. Again, given that Lost and Sword Art did actually, look to try and pressure Diana there. Wasn't too much loss there for Danny and Igno looking to defend, so we'll see how bottom lane develops here. As you can see, Lost, at least being first to the wave, is already up almost a wave in CS, but of course Danny will catch up here. But definitely not going to have the route to level 2. That is that belongs to TSM right now.
Yeah, they're zoning them off, and if that right there, one creep that Danny is not able to catch, so those little differences in experience is what this lane is trying to amount with every single wave. Spica looking to influence the mid lane already. Jizuke loves to be aggressive here, had already used his dash, so Spica's thinking that there's an opportunity to go after Lucian, especially if he's using his Relentless Pursuit on cooldown. He just showed, though.
2 seconds. Jizuke not going to have it back. Flashes out of the way. We'll get the dash back, though, and should be okay.
Very close attempt, but burning that flash will still allow for an opportunity for TSM to return to this lane at level 6. There will be a few seconds of a window where the shuffle from PoE can come out and actually gank him. So they know how important Jizuke's laning phase was when he played Lucian before. So they're attacking it early and preventing that from happening again.
Nice hook from Ignar, but Danny busy CSing under the tower, not really much he can do to follow up. So the double range, we see this a lot, Crumbs. This is actually something TL played in week 1. If memory serves, like, oh, this lane looks pretty good, and then mid lane Karma happened, and everyone played Xin Zhao, and it was like, oh, okay. I guess you can do more with this Karma pick than just team it up with Ezreal and try and bully bottom lanes, but it still does that as well.
It's very annoying for the bottom lane to deal with, and TSM knows that they're committing everybody down here, and Huni has to play weak side, but he is getting 3-man down.
Contract's level 4. This feels brutal for Lee Sin. Flash already burnt. Huni looking very dead on my screen, and indeed he will be on your screens as well. That's first blood for Viego.
Really well reacted out of Evil Geniuses. They know that Spica pathed from the middle of the river down to the bot side for that crab, that he could potentially was setting up a gank on the bottom lane or even returning to the crab. So it was an opportunity for EG to attack the opposite side of the map. And since their bottom lane was playing safe, not getting poked enough to be dove. They find an opportunity topside and snowballed Viego. A single kill on this champion can get him closer to that Divine Sunder, which is just such a phenomenal power spike for this pick.
Yep, assist gold for both Jizuke and Contracts as well, which is good. PoE actually TP'd up here, I believe. So he's busy taking the wave and getting that shoved in as Huni was forced to go mid instead. Luckily for Jizuke, it didn't actually cost him much. Pretty much caught the wave in mid at the right time, so nice roam timing on his half as well. And now just going to go ahead and push this one back because he expects PoE to be walking back to lane. So PoE, if he's not careful, might lose a couple minions here. Looks like the wave's going to make it in time.
He'll happily lose that in exchange for how much he got in the top side. So it is the opportunity cost of trying to defend your top laner there. And even Karma won't actually be able to get some.
All the minions crumbs.
He does. He does miss them all.
That's brutal there. Nice from Jizuke. Oh, he's going to miss one more as well. No, the bonus minion. It's a tragedy. 7 lost to the Abyss, Crumbs.
That really does feel like a tragedy. Sometimes you really would love to see a cannon minion right there to hold that creep for you, and you'll take the loss on that one for the
going
in instead. And that's what's going to happen now when Impact has his Phage already, and Huni's just getting pushed back. EG is going to be able to return to this lane time and time again, knowing that there's a summoner down on Huni, and there is enough lockdown and burst between Contracts and Impact. They won't need Jizuke anymore for this.
It's nice too, right? Because I feel like we see a lot of Viego, but really it's the team fights where he looks a bit better. But we'll hold that thought because Impact now getting ganked by Speaker, but no flash still in the volley after the mid play, and that's done.
When Lee is so far behind from the Viego, if he has to use all his mobility spells just to even get remotely in range, it's just not going to happen. And Volibear has been already present on the map twice, so it's not like he was level 6 and far away enough to jump on him. Impact still has the flash available, so that opportunity for a gank just kind of turns into a drive-by hello, and that's about it.
It's been a while in the LCS, but it's nice to see Contracts and Impact still have a little bit of their synergy from their days back on Cloud9.
True. Oh, I almost forgot about that one.
Contracts pretty quickly approaching level 6 as well. Diana's power goes way up when she gets that ulti ready, and has the Hextech Alternator already as well. So Contracts pretty potent here, but Sheen for Speak is not bad, as it looks like Scuttle Crab spawn is what's being waited for. Contract's going to go ahead and finish that off.
Already completes his smite, so he's going to be very powerful now in the skirmishes. Diana, one of the junglers that currently as an AP really actually benefits from the skirmishing ability because she actually is interested in auto-attacking you. Rumble, not every time. Fiddlesticks, definitely not interested in that one. And so Diana going to be even stronger at catching out Spica and dueling 1v1. It's a champion that you often underestimate with how much damage she's got, trying to bait Power of Evil here, as everyone knows how exciting it is to gank Jizuke.
It feels more like a shadow from Contracts than an attempt at a real gank through mid lane, especially with PoE having flash up and available, but blue buff is going to go over here. I think Contracts is donating it. No, he's going to take it himself here. They're being a little bit more selfish this game. Definitely, again, Diana is a champion where you can afford to take farm and look to carry the game a little bit more yourself. But at the end of it all, Crumbs, 7.5 minutes through. EG, they got first blood. They're up about 700 gold. That's nice, but it's not enough to really tip an early game. They're going to have to work a little bit harder.
Exactly, and that extra work, I think, will come out at the Dragon stage when they can start pairing Ignar at level 6 with Contracts. Their AoE should be enough to get you any fight, and if it's not a Dragon, it's going to be at Herald. I did like the move of giving Contracts the blue buff at that point because Jizuke was also basing. It doesn't feel good to give your blue buff to a mid laner and then watch him squander the first 20 seconds of it just basing and then returning back to the lane for it to be halfway gone. So he takes it. He's going to make use of it, at the very least farming.
All right, well, PoE, unfortunately for Jizuke, does get the blue buff, so time for Azir to shove the wave significantly faster here. But Jizuke, of course, is still going to have the pressure. Looks like he still has first move, at least for this Herald play that is has been prophesized here by Crumbs. And Contracts there going to call his solo laners in. Ignar's up here already as well. And we know where the TSM bottom lane is, and they probably suspect Karma's down there as well. So Danny going to kind of eat it here in the 1v1, but that's Rift Herald over to Evil Geniuses.
It's been the Rift Herald plays out of EG that have allowed them to get these early gold leads most games. The fact that they can use this to crack plates under 14 has slowly accelerated their advantages game after game. And in this case, TSM is just not able to find the play because you're playing Karma in the bot lane. You're not really able to dive Danny, so Ignar can afford to leave the lane, watch Danny catch a wave passively, and then return for just a single plate's cost. So EG is happy to take this trade, and if they can just find a gank with this Rift Herald on top of it, that would be enough to burn a turret down. With Viego and Lucian in the solo lane, just some alone time with a turret is more than enough to take it down.
Yeah, it's definitely a top leading game for EG. Danny is 30 plus CS behind Lost.
Yeah.
So they're definitely stacking some of the pressure there in the 2v2. But EG probably feels like they get enough compensation on the rest of the map. We'll see if that comes true, especially using the Herald that, as you mentioned, Contracts will look to make use of somewhere on the map. Impact continuing to build his own lane lead as well, by the way. He's 20 CS ahead of Huni, and he's just been relentlessly pushing this 1v1.
Making value out of that Viego early pick. And on the bot side, I think this is actually going to be an important game for Danny. We like to see him when he is doing well, but the situations when you are consistently pressured, when you're not ahead as the AD carry, not only take a tax on your mental game, but do you actually get to contribute later on into the game? How do you find value as an AD carry without the gold, without the damage? On a pick like Tristana, I think the ability to use Buster Shot effectively will dictate how effective Danny becomes, because that won't need gold.
Lost Contract for a second, because he's actually the one alongside Danny right now behind the lane. Ignar was busy clearing the wards. This does give Contracts time to sneak into that brush if he wants. There is also a dragon maybe to consider, but they see the play happening. Sword Art going to be in trouble. Moonfall pop, Nautilus ulti out. See you later, Sword Art. It's Ignar that collects it.
Absolutely beautiful there. Ignar was able to get the ultimate off of, and now they're going to get this Herald. There is nobody on TSM that is capable of responding. With Tristana down here, this could be enough to get Danny back into the game. Diana, push it very fast, as well as Trist.
Yeah, 2 plates first and then drop it. No, drop it. Now take the second plate. Really nicely played there for EG. So that's the answer to, how do you get Danny some gold when the early game has been a little rough? That play right there, really nice stuff from Contracts' bottom side. Speaker looking to chase Ignar towards the dragon pick. Goodbye tower, by the way. Lots of gold split there between Diana and Trist, and maybe even the dragon to boot.
And in a single play, EG is able to transfer their top lane pressure into the Rift Herald that then rescues the bottom lane back into the game. Every lane has now refused.
Don't worry about the dragon. Crumbs, it's PoE. They really want Jizuke. He's going to go ahead and find it.
Whoa, I'm not sure what he thought he was doing there, but this is EG's territory. They are still rotating from the plane to the bot side. They have not left. They have yet to take the dragon. Face checking by himself. Pretty costly, as now there's no chance of defending this objective, and it'll get EG a better reset timer since there's nothing that TSM can counter at the dragon right now.
All right, well, 0 mythics on the board right now, Crumbs, but I think that's going to change very shortly as these teams do take their resets. I'm keeping my eyes peeled over on the EG inventories. There's the first one I see. It's Contracts with the Rocket Belt ready to go.
I like this Rocket Belt move. You're already dealing with a lot of mobility, a lot of speed on the side of TSM. A lot of times we might have seen even Night Harvester on the Diana, but seeing the Rocket Belt just ensures that you get a better engage, because you don't really care about catching the likes of a Volibear, the likes of a Lee Sin, but the Azir, the Ezreal, and the Karma, you gotta get your hands on these picks, so the Rocket Belt will help you close that gap.
Yeah, amazing how one little change to the item, all of a sudden everybody wants to buy a Rocket Belt, right?
It's got a cool name.
Magic Penetration. Yeah, I like that stat. I'll take that, as Jizuke is going to TP down to the bottom side. He's got a Gale Force, by the way, so now the side lane threat is very real from this Lucian. This is a lane that PoE is going to struggle to find 1v1s in.
And now it's not only PoE struggling in the 1v1s, but still the top lane is in Impact's favor. So EG is going to dominate in the 1-3-1 department, both side lanes winning. It's now up to the 3 that we see right now, Ignar and Contracts, to make moves in the rest of the map. They're looking for a pick
here.
Yeah, they are.
Speaker. Oh, no. No one died. That's a miracle. Speaker actually maybe looking for the play. Does get the smite onto Ignar. Danny here shooting Speaker now, but the flash is committed. So EG back away there. I thought they might have had something, but TSM with a really nice collapse.
Yeah, they didn't feel like they knew exactly what was happening with TSM. They had no vision going on, so they feel like we just need to back off. We're not interested in taking these risks because our solo lanes are still pushing. So just back off, let the solo lanes draw out the pressure of TSM so that we know exactly where the rest of the team is at, and then go for a play. That flash won't be too costly. Nautilus can still be very effective, as we saw in the earlier pick. As long as he gets to tag the ultimate on the right member, he'll offer value to the team.
All right, well, if you remember earlier, Crumbs, at 7.5 minutes, I said EG, they're up 700 gold, but they're going to have to do better than that. Now we're at almost 14 minutes, and EG are up 3,000 gold.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit better.
And the thing is, it hasn't been an entire indication of them winning the game, though. Same thing for TSM losing it. So this is looking like it's entirely on EG's hands, and it's now up to their hands to execute on it, these plays, because that has been so many times where it's...
Oh!
Wait a minute.
Igna! Oh, no follow-up. That's sad. I knew Contract's in the other brush, so I thought maybe they had something, but I guess overcommitting to an Ezreal when he's that close to his tower, probably not a good play.
And right next to the Karma, too.
Yeah,
that's usually who you want. You just,
the other tower.
You got to separate them, too, or have everybody right there. Ignar had Contracts right next to him, might have thought about going for that play instantly, but still we're going back to the fanning formation of EGS. You see that Huni has to run away from Impact already with the completed Divine Thunder, so no one wants to mess with this lane, and even if they were to do so, EG already is dominating in the 3-man in the mid lane, so they're able to rotate and assist their side laners first. TSM trying to do something here, thinking that they've got some power in the 5v5 grouped up, but EG is just not in a position. They don't have the vision to see exactly what's going down, and they'll happily concede this, knowing that Jizuka is still pushing bottom.
Yeah, don't have Jizuka either is the big one. He doesn't have TP, but he'll happily make a solo play here, maybe try and get some plates back. TSM with the Rift Herald, though, will be looking to try and get a tower for themselves, but there's a kick by Huni. Impact in trouble. Ulti's out of the way, but that's not enough as Huni's able to find it.
Really nice timing out of TSM to gank the top lane. They're going to get some more because the Herald can be popped to the top side. Contracts can be dove.
Huni, oh, that looks risky. Moonfall pop, Contracts looking for the solo play, finds a Contracts in the 1v3, outplays Huni, and now Speaker's looking in trouble as well, but Contracts decides not to go too far forward.
You just don't mess with these Academy players. You gotta respect Contracts. He sees the opportunity thinking that Huni is just playing overconfident and really punishes him for it. EG, however, is not able to get any major objective in other parts of the map. They will take this time to reset and attempt to go for a dragon that's up in 45 minutes instead. And on that earlier gank onto Impact, that was just a bit of a misread because you just saw the Rift Herald being taken. You know who was up there. Getting too close to the Lee Sin ends up in a death.
Well, I like this as well from TSM. They're holding on to their Herald, trying to find a little bit more value. They're able to take the tower easily on their own. Let's watch this first part, though, as Impact does find himself in a sticky situation.
Dashing forward after the Herald has been taken is not the ideal option when you know that the team is nearby, but then the highlight here is how Contracts saves his former sword, or rather shield teammate. It's the double dash through the exhaust, really well timed out of him. Diana is a fearsome champion, and she's getting a lot of gold.
I look close too between Diana and Volibear, but I'm pretty sure Speaker still had his ulti, so not a fight Contracts was going to win, which he recognizes and backs off. So taking, my goodness, man, he has so much gold. The first to 7k or thereabouts, well on top of the charts as far as overall gold goes. EG put Contracts in, give him a champion who knows how to play. And look at that, they're playing around him as well.
Let him shine, and he is very bright right now. He's going to have that hourglass soon, and so that's going to allow him to be even more aggressive with his engages, whatever opportunities he finds that he can recognize, like what we just saw. Not a lot of junglers would have gone for that play, would have seen the opportunity to flash forward and still live to tell the tale. TSM, though, from that earlier Herald, finally pops it mid. They didn't get to use it earlier to try to contest the dragon. They hadn't reset in time, so it really just only gets some extra damage onto the turret and not much else.
All right, well, the good news for... Oh, goodness, we'll hold that thought. Yeah, better flash out of there, Sword Art. Does commit it there as Contracts is looking for his life. EG also did get that second dragon as well, so they're keeping that timer going as far as the snowball for the Dragon Soul goes. The thing I was trying to say, though, before Contracts looked to all in Sword Art, was that even though Jizuka has a CS lead and he's getting some pressure down in the bottom side, Power of Evil's not giving him much, right? It's not like Jizuka can threaten a kill or threaten the tower, so I don't know if it's just going to take a bit longer or if in the matchup that Power of Evil can happily defend and catch waves. So even though EG have all this space down here, Jizuka currently split pushing isn't getting that much done. I think he'll get more done, but right now it's kind of a wash.
I think you hit it. in the difference between the champions that Jizuke's Lucian has previously played and who he's up against now. The control mage of Azir is just so much better at catching waves and not getting denied or bullied by the Lucian. Normally, he was up against Viego, Sets, Nocturnes, melee champions that really struggle to catch waves. Up against PoE that can be an Azir and be so far away from Lucian, he has a really hard time building these leads. The CS advantage he now has to get just comes from last hitting better and then taking jungle camps. But Contract is using that time to take those camps. So there's not much opportunity for denying, and that's what TSM is banking on. The fact that PoE is going to be consistently farming, he's going to build up the gold, and with still that only 3,000 gold lead, the later the game goes, the less that advantage will matter, as TSM's items will catch up to EG's.
For me, if I'm kind of thinking about, again, that timer, right? EG still holding that gold lead, but it's been kind of static, still at 3K. There's still definitely room to make that bigger, right? Often the game stalls out when there just isn't enough for you to take because the map's not open enough yet, and EG have been consistently working on taking out this mid outer tower, which is good for them. Actually, maybe something brewing here in mid. Igno with the wraparound Contracts. Looking to find the follow-up there, and EG will commit maybe a little too far, but Contracts already took down Speaker. Tower is dead. Great stopwatch usage there, but Huni's looking to make the play happen. Now going back in, but he gets hooked up by Igno. Has to be careful. Contracts flashes out. Danny, they're able to take it as Impact possesses Huni. And EG, they get the tower and 2 kills.
That is just a great time from EG to have gone for that play. Karma split off from the team while EG was still collapsing from the bot side. The shields and the speeds were just not present, so they're able to engage onto Volibear and still kill him past his jump and the flash because the collapse was so quick from Evil Geniuses. That's what Jizuke was able to accomplish. Push the bottom lane, rotate into the mid lane. The team already has control wards, and you see that Karma split up. They have vision on her. Bam, pull the trigger. It doesn't matter who you hit. Go on them right away. But Impact here, the 1v2.
Yeah, lost should be enough here. Power of Evil also contributing damage. Good stun there for Impact, popping it off. Needs to get the reset, not gonna find it. Power of Evil will get the kill there.
Dangerously close. Still had the stopwatch if it got hairy, but I wonder if Impact having an ultimate would have actually been able to, at the very least, draw that out. Could this be the call for TSM? They're just starting it. They're coin flipping this.
All right, well, it's a 5v4 for TSM, but Contracts is here and he's very strong. Has the Zhonya's finished as well. Power of Evil also is not that healthy, but he does have Flash. TSM are committed to finishing this by the looks of things. I don't think they can get off at this point. Contracts hitting tag, they take it all back, they will look for the turn, but Huni gets blown to pieces! It's Danny that finds the Contracts into the backside, and Speaker is gonna get called down by Jizuke. PoE trying to escape and will do so successfully, but thanks for the leash, TSM, as EG are on the Baron.
Oh, they love that play out of TSM. They just lie in wait, they have great engage, and they don't even need to pop the hourglass on the Diana to find the pick, because they don't need to extend for the gank, for the fight. It's TSM that attempts to turn, but this composition has such a hard time in finding these fights. The Karma, Azir, and Ezreal are not built for this. So when Huni and Spica move forward trying to go in, the rest of the team really can't catch up. Contracts just has to dash away with the Rocket Bell, displaces Huni, leaves him stranded. They are lucky that PoE did not die there, but that luck does not extend far because you just lost that Baron, and now EG is truly improperly snowballed. 7,000 gold up, and the fight.
Oh, Impact's baiting them in there. Huni's gonna get out, but not for much longer. Possession happens. Contract's gonna dive in with the rest of the squad. Nautilus assault follows. Lost. See you later. Ezreal as Danny is gonna claim that kill. Now Impact empowered up, possessing the soul of Ezreal. As EG still with the Red Bull Baron buffer, barreling down mid lane.
They're gonna take the inhibitor on this push. PoE just can't make it here. This is a giant push that they're just getting off this single Baron. And notice this position. It feels like they want to end this. Diana has ultimate, and they could get it if they catch PoE.
All right, they're going for it. Contracts again, going back in. There's the ulti out of PoE, but Danny, the youngest player, diving in to try and finish off the job. Not happening just yet, and EG looks like they will have to retreat.
They go for the knockout punch, but TSM still got a strong chin on them. They have a consolation prize, the Cloud Dragon that will put them at Cloud Soul, but they don't need that to end this game. They are already so powerful. 9,000 gold up on TSM, whose jungle no longer belongs to them. They're happy to trade this red buff. They don't care that it's gone. They're getting everything they've wanted and more.
Impact actually lying in wait. Maybe a fight on the cards after it. Huni looking to dive in. Kicks back Impact, but Ignore over the wall. Huni will get the kill. So now EG going to have to back away, but there's nothing else for TSM. I mean, the Super Minions are about to hit the Nexus Towers.
Impact just wanted to stick around, take a selfie, remember what just happened in the red side jungle. No need to really linger around that. Gives a kill over. Shouldn't hurt EG too much. That 1 minute left on the Baron probably wouldn't have gotten them another push out to actually reach the base. And so this will just be a reset for them as Impact makes it back onto the map. They still got that inhibitor. That was the price they wanted. This will keep TSM deep into their jungle. And again, a team composition that really struggles to enter the fight, to actually engage, pushed into their own base, will make it so much harder to fan out and defend the rest of your inhibitors.
Right, and EG don't have, you know, like a CLG level of engage, but they've got enough, right? Nautilus,
Bongo
Diana,
level, that's the new one.
Yeah, they don't have a bongo level. They got, you know, 50% bongo,
right.
65, I don't know. I'm not a bongo comp expert. His contracts just keeps taking the jungle away. That much I know. He is so far ahead of Speaker.
And he can dive. And that's
he has been.
That's the key. And he's going again.
Hey, look at that! Lust is the target. Oh, that's so filthy. Daddy on a rampage, but Contract set him up so well.
Hashtag Diana mechanics. He just R-flashed on top of Lost. And now without an Ezreal, this comp really is not going to be able to function. There's a single damage threat in PoE, and Ignar still has ultimate. They just got to press R on PoE, and the game will be over. TSM on the complete back foot. They're on the ropes, and the coach is really thinking about pulling this one out with the white towel.
All right, well, tower's going down 6 now for EG. Gold lead's blown up, 10K basically for EG right now. Baron to fight for in 2 minutes 25. Dragon Soul, if somehow you still need it, in 3 minutes, so about 40 seconds after the Baron. And items just continue to rack up here. EG just have everything. They own the Rift right now.
They might feel like they need it if PoE wave clear as well as he's doing right now, because Baron's still up in 2 minutes, and so should be able to actually draw out TSM into the blue side of the jungle, fight them there, get the Baron, maybe end the game, or still go for the Dragon. It's something that we might not have been so used to at the beginning of this summer, which is that mages in the mid lane do really well at stalling the game, especially something like a Nazir. So many 45-minute games are just reasoned behind these kinds of champions. And so if PoE can just stall it out, EG would have no problem taking advantage of the objectives they've set up to end the game cleanly.
And they're going to have to, right? If this game is going to get extended enough, right? We've talked about timers here as Impact looking to maybe wrap around, but he thinks better of it. I take it back. Speaker going to get stunned. Jizuke here, but it's a 2v4 for Evil Geniuses. Jizuke flashing out, but here comes the cavalry. Contracts charging in. Moonfall pop finds 2, making it easy doubles. Jizuke is barely going to die at the end of the play, but a 4-for-1 trade feels pretty worth.
It really is. TSM was trying to find something on the map. Maybe they could catch out Jizuke, but they still lose a more ginormous advantage of members on their side. It's a 3-for-1, and now with the Tristana still pushing, and Ignar that's going to be able to just flash hook on someone, nothing more will happen. In fact, they actually will just call it quits right there. The respawn timers of TSM are too high, and the objective of Baron is going to be available, so they'll just play it safe. They know that was a close call, losing members there for no objective gain, so they'll just back off and bait TSM.
All right, let's watch this again.
So it's 2 members of EG just trying to fight TSM. They know that Impact should be able to get out, and they have the red side jungle warded, so they can't collapse. Jizuka dying is something for TSM, but EG still get everything, and now they're setting up around Baron. Jizuka is not there just yet, so they're not going to fight them until he gets there.
Contracts was exhausted, by the way, when he dove in.
And he still just like half shot them.
It didn't matter, but he got exhausted. Daddy, actually pretty big. Contract now finding Speaker. Again, can trade just about anyone. Diving in once on Moonfall finds 2. Speaker just dead to the culling as the rest of the team dives in. Impact gonna set it up as Jizuke knocks them down. And the rest of EG are going for it. Huni trying to save the game, but he's just throwing his life into the rest of Evil Geniuses. And EG are going to walk in against the 2 remaining carries and look to end the game. Impact always found a very fancy play with the Lee Sin Q that he found in a recent possession as Ignar is proxy taking the tower, looking to try and take down PoE. Lost is left for dead as Contracts is going to dominate 1. And this pretty BM-looking TP is going to get the other kill. The ace is on the cards for EG as they waltz towards the Nexus.
They don't even need the Baron, they just needed TSM to leave the base. They pounced instantly, and again, Evil Geniuses is able to get a really big lead in the early game and close it out. This is the best look for EG, and Contracts has made a statement in his return game, or at least his stint into the LCS on a single Diana match.
6-0 and 12 with some unreasonable amount of Magi stacks to end that game.
I mean,
not bad.
Academy player joins LCS, builds Magi as hard carries. That's a pretty good story.
It's funny that we've had two different Academy junglers enter the LCS this weekend, and for very different reasons. And they're both playing Signature Champions and owning on them, right? Amio Sidwani, maybe not as flashy as Contracts as Diana or Italy, but hey, it's a look that works there for EG. It's TSM, I might remind you, they were tied for first place. That's not true anymore.
Yeah, and the quality of wins and the quality of losses for TSM, stark contrast with 100 Thieves, who currently sits at first. So the team has had a lot of wins, but their losses, and even in the quality of wins, like I just mentioned, there are a lot of glaring weaknesses. And in this one, the early game was clearly exploited by EG, and they never let go. TSM has been very good at coming back when the team gets an early lead and then fumbles in the mid game. Not a single fumble happened here from EG. They closed out cleanly and never gave TSM breathing room.
The cleanliness is the thing I really like. Even the little things like Danny's getting slammed 2v2, right? And you kind of expect that playing against Ezreal Karma. That lane sucks. And Contracts even manages to party his way down there, get a kill, drop the Herald, and then, okay, cool, you have gold. And then Danny ended the game like with also some unreasonable numbers, because that's kind of the kind of game it was, and was able to contribute massively in those mid-game team fights as the Tristana, despite falling behind in the early game, right? So it wasn't just like, oh, like Contracts gets ahead and wins the game. It's like Contracts gets ahead, gets everyone else ahead, and all of EG play well together to take the early game lead they got and win the game from there. And surprising absolutely no one, a player of the game is Contracts.
Yeah, what a statement. First game back, gets player of the game.
We're going to interview him too, by the way. I don't know that, but that's what's happening.
He's already had 2 interviews in 2 days.
We
interviewed him in Academy. You want to hear from him. He's matured. He's changed. He's learned a lot, and he still has the talent he had when he first was scouted by all the LCS teams.
Arguably might be better, right?
I think so.
Had a while now in competitive League of Legends, clearly very in tune with the meta. And you know, it was Italy in Academy. It's Diana on the LCS stage. Both looks look very clean. He didn't die in either game, I'm pretty sure. Definitely a good weekend.
Man, just to wonder what's going to happen with these Academy players consistently filling in and with the LCS players as well. Because I just think the logical thing, it's just going to level up the junglers. Because now you have somebody to legitimately contend with on Svenskaren's situation. They've both been very good. Well, now they should be fighting for that spot as how good Contracts has looked. It should push Svenskaren and be like, man, I really gotta keep pushing because Contracts is coming for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a statement game. I think that's the easy way to put it. I also like to move away. I don't want to because he played so well, but to move away from Contracts a little, I like the plan EG had, right? Jizuke and Lucian looked totally fine. They understood what his job was to do in the side lane. One of the better like early game Viego games I feel like we've seen, because we don't get that many Viego pop-ups in the early game. Yes, his jungler set him up, but it is nice to see that Viego, like when he gets ahead, he does lane bully people, because that's what I assumed people were picking the champion for. And then every Viego game is like, he doesn't do anything.
Right. You just got to give him that little extra nudge, put him ahead of the counterpart just by a tiny margin, and then he'll completely dominate the side lane, which was what EG used to break the game open on that mid dive. They had Jizuke ahead, they had Impact ahead from the earlier setup, and then it was just too much pressure for TSM, who relied on grouping up with their draft and was completely split apart from the minute the outer turret broke.
Yeah, looking good there for EG, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, hey, look at that, Contracts will be joining the State Farm Analyst Desk to break down the game. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We have a special guest here following the EG victory contracts after such a dominating performance. But before we get into the game itself, I do want to give you an opportunity right now just to reflect upon the journey to get here.
Yeah, had like a rough 2 years after I left C9, right? Sorry.
No problem.
You're
it's
good.
tough.
You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know, I went through academy, right? Had a rough first split of academy, but, you know, was able to kind of regroup and bounce back and really work on what I had to do as a player. So just be able to come in and beat the #1 team after all my hard work over the past year and a half feels really good.
Not a lot of people would know, but you killed it. You killed it in Proving Grounds last split. It felt like, in that EG resurgence, a lot of it was based off of your carry performance. Like, in that journey, what was specifically that you felt like you were working on as an individual, as a player, that made that biggest leap for you?
I'd say the biggest thing was definitely like how I present myself with communication.
Yeah.
Biggest part that I had to work on as a player after leaving C9. I think I'm able to really just kind of take control of the game and, just be a big voice for my team and really translate it into game. So excited happy that I'm able to translate that into game.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the last times I interviewed you when you were coming in on 100 Thieves, I guess, and then also previously on Golden Guardians, you talked about how that was one of the things that you wanted to improve on the most. So coming on to this team now against TSM, like how did you fit into the existing communication system, and how easy or difficult was it to just kind of step onto the team?
I feel like it was pretty simple. Dennis, or Svenskaren, has a big communication role as well in early games, so it's kind of like a plug and place. Like, we do different things, but we both excel at certain things as well. So it was just really easy to kind of just plug in and play with the team. I'd say the biggest thing was like probably mid-game, rotations and where overall we want to play, because Impact is also a very big voice. So it's kind of me and him having to try to come to like a conclusion of like how we want to play usually.
So one thing that actually really did impress me was your control of the early game, right? Because as soon as you were able to get ahead, you go topside to get Impact ahead. You guys end up getting Herald. You throw Herald bot because the bot lane is getting pushed in by Ezreal Karma.
Yeah.
So I guess, did you set out to do that? Were you like, this is exactly what I have to do? Or I just thought it was like a really smart read of what you had to do, and obviously you knew that you wanted to get ahead early of this TSM composition.
Yeah. So in our team composition, our strong side is Lucian Viego. They have early push, and we're able to kind of take control of the game early. I can secure a crab there. But I mean, honestly, this jungle matchup should be pretty favored in Volibear early game. But since I had two pushing lanes, I was relieved of a lot of pressure. I didn't really have to worry too much about, having to like deal with like maybe not getting a crab or any of like these aggressive plays. So that was pretty easy. I think kind of got lucky on the bot Herald because I was just gonna go bot side for dragon control. Like, it's not as simple as like we can just go Herald the turret because we're pushing. Like, if Karma doesn't die in that one timing, then we're not gonna be able to really just Herald the bot turret and get it. But we're able to get a pick. He was caught out, so transitioned that well.
What would you attribute that level of confidence? Coming on today, it felt like for us, like it came out of nowhere. I don't know how much of a kind of a heads up you had that you were coming in today. But like, that dive that they had on top of you, knowing your limits, being able to kill that top lane. When they try to dive, you're like, what the hell are they doing, right?
Yeah.
And then that play bot lane, you ran with that lead. It felt like this was the most disciplined and clean game EG had, and it was when, you just kind of filled in. So like, where would you attribute that level of confidence?
Honestly, I think EG's biggest problem, honestly, is like someone not being able to kind of be that back person, like back calls, because everyone likes to fight, right? So I feel like today I had a pretty good understanding of when we could go in and when we have to back. So I thought that was something that I really strived on today for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it's like confidence. Honestly, I was kind of nervous going into this game.
I didn't see that.
First game in a while,
couldn't
but
tell.
yeah, you know, things happen in the game. I got ahead, and then once I'm ahead, then I get that confidence.
When did you get that heads up, by the way, about like when you were going to be filling in for today?
Oh, I knew since the start of the week. So
Okay.
Tuesday, Monday maybe. Just planned it.
So you were able to get some practice in with the team leading into this, and you're talking about how nervous you were going into the game, but from a viewer perspective, we just saw the contracts show all the way until the final moments. You had 100% kill participation just until around the Nexus. So obviously it's a lot of pressure coming into it, but now on the opposite side of this victory, with everything you have been working for, is there any major takeaway that you have taken from this win for yourself with such a strong performance?
Not sure if there's one thing specifically, but it feels good to be back.
Yeah!
Let's go.
Get contracts back in the LCS.
Yes.
Get the campaign.
Oh, yeah. Contracts, it was such a pleasure being able to have you here on the desk after, especially after a game like that. And we really hope to see more from you in the future.
I hope so too.
Yeah, we're all here for you, Contracts. So what a way to continue into the middle of our LCS day. When we return, we are going to be checking in with our fave Dr. Duo and diving into the face-off between Golden Guardians and Immortals. We will see you there.